Hello everyone, my name is Tomcat and welcome back to my Minecraft 8 to 14 series. So time for a bit of story time. First off, what I formerly called the automatic shulker box filler machine, I'm going to rename it as the configurable shulker box filler machine because I think that better represents the fact that you can change what items you put inside in each slot of the shulker box. So it's now called the configurable shulker box filler machine. Still does not roll off the tongue nicely though. Okay, second, I wanted to start working on building the full version of it. So right now the prototype was only like two items, not two items, two slots for the shulker box. I want to work on the full 27 slot one. However, I started working on gathering the resources to build a full version. So I counted how much I think I will need to build the whole machine, use a little spreadsheet and everything, and I started filling this shulker box over here with all the materials I will need. I've got most of it actually. This is all I would need, except for these 5 slots here. I need 5 stacks of hoppers. 5 stacks of hoppers means I need 25 stacks of iron. And I do have a small stash of iron in this chest over here, but this is still not enough. So I need to mine some iron because hoppers eat a lot of iron. That's the bottom line. Anyway, so I don't really feel like strip mining at all. And in fact, when I was working on the creeper farm project over in that section, which I haven't shown yet, I showed it once briefly in I think the last video. I got a lot of iron. Like every time that machine makes one pass, I got a stack of iron, at least iron ore. So I'm gonna switch to working on that instead. So while I'm running over there, let me tell you about the background of this project. So I finally got the elytra, and to use the elytra, I need to use a lot of fireworks to, launch and stay in the air. Now, fireworks use up a lot of gunpowder. And to be honest, I have not been doing a good job at harvesting gunpowder. Creepers and gas, normally I just kill those with bows, and bows doesn't have looting on it, so I don't get a lot of gunpowder out of them. So I just need a constant source of gunpowder. So what I'm building over here is going to be a creeper farm. Now, I haven't done much work with vanilla mob spawning mechanics, but from what I've learned so far, the best way to maximize the spawning rate of any hostile mobs, is to dig out a 15 by 15 chunk size area to prevent mobs from spawning anywhere else besides where I want to spawn them, which is going to be in the center in a mob spawner. So that's what I have here. Up there you can see there's a line of cobblestone and furnaces. This is one corner. This scaffold marks one corner of the 15 by 15 chunk area. That cobblestone and furnace line, that goes 15 chunks that way, and this cobblestone line goes 15 chunks that way. And you can see right there, off in the distance, here, let me zoom in. Right there in the distance, you can see a tower of scaffold. That marks the center of the 15 by 15 chunk area. So that gives you a scale of how big of an area I need to dig out. So instead of digging stuff out manually, because I still don't have a beacon, I decided to just use a flying machine, drop TNT. So now there's a slight caveat with that. TNT uses gunpowder to produce them. So what I'm actually doing here is using an exploit called TNT duping. So there's a machine. Oh, whoops. The flying machine is at the other end. All right, let's climb up there and I will show you the machine. Alright, so I'm at the far end of this perimeter. By the way, the 15 by 15 chunk area, that's called a perimeter. So you can barely see, if I were to actually rotate my camera off to the side, you can see on the top left side of the screen, that is where we just were. That's that side of, I don't know, north side. Let's call it the north side. That's the north side of the perimeter. You can see the cobblestone line going off towards the east. Now this is the south side. And this is where the flying machine actually is. I actually already had sent back the engine of the flying machine all the way back. But here is the main part of the flying machine. So this module over here, this row are all the TNT duping machines. And looks like, why is that one? Oh, I remember. I remember. Um, last time I was running this flying machine, for some reason, this one over here ended up getting destroyed. I think that's because on this side over here, there was a hill. It's a little higher, and one of the TNT blocks ended up, or entities, it wasn't a block, an entity, flew back up into the machine and ended up blowing up this particular TNT duping module. So that's why the TNT block is a little farther forward than others, but the others are normal. So this row is the TNT duping row, and this row in the back is, well, in this, if we look this way, is the front. Technically, this is the front of the machine. In this row, this is just something that helps advance all of the TNT duping machines using only one engine. In hindsight, I probably could have used separate engines for all of these, but this was more fun because this is actually the first big flying machine project I've ever worked on. So I wanted this to be a decent level of complexity just for the hell of it, because why not? So this is just a second pass of this flying machine over this area. You can see it's destroyed a decent amount of area. I need to get rid of that lava, by the way. But the first time I had to rewind this machine, I actually ended up rebuilding this entire section in reverse. So I flipped this onto this side of the flying machine and pushed everything back, which that was a pain. I had to rebuild a bunch of scaffolding underneath, destroy all the blocks, pick it back up because slime blocks are expensive right now because we don't have a slime farm, and that wasn't fun. That just took a lot of work. So this is only the second pass, and the machine hasn't been sent all the way back yet. And I kind of want to add a small addition here to help rewind the machine. So instead of like sending it, oh, I don't know how to describe it. Instead of having a machine push all of this at once, what I'm going to do is just build a bunch of engines. So this is one engine over here. I'm standing on another one over here. And the rest of these are all incomplete. But I was going to have a bunch of engines, and I had to time the order correctly. But I can just send each of these parts back on its own. So I need to finish the rest of these machines real quick. And there we go. All of the reversing engines are done. Now, I need to actually push them all forward a little bit because, as you can see on this one that I'm standing, this reversing flying machine engine thing, I'm really bad at names, is actually farther forward because this one is supposed to push this little zigzag of slime blocks. The one right next to it is meant to push back the TNT duping section. So this one's farther back. So I need to put a furnace in front of each of these to make sure that these don't end up, well, when I tell it to go forward that way, that it doesn't actually end up pushing the whole thing, because it can push that whole slime block thing and it end up jamming and bad things happen. So I'm going to start placing down these furnaces. Doing one last check, make sure that all the furnaces are placed in the correct locations. Looks like they are. All right. So now I just need to get these flying machines pushed up against those furnaces. So let's just place that over there. There we go. That one moved forward. There we go. And just because of the way I ended up making this thing, the flying machines ended up pulling one block of cobble, which is fine. I can always replace that. But let's just clean up this dirt and now place the furnaces behind the flying machines. Let me actually walk back and not fall between these gaps. There we go. So behind these flying machines, I have to put an engine. So not engine. Wow, I'm getting all my words mixed up. I have to put a furnace right behind the flying machine so that I make sure that when the flying machine's on its way back to where I'm standing, it doesn't end up pushing the cobblestone off that way. So that's what the furnace is for, because the furnace is an immovable object. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. So let me work on that real quick. All right, so all the stops are in. You can see that we have a couple of cobblestone here just so I can walk forward, and furnace is placed right here, furnace there, and so on. So the pattern continues all the way back. So I think it's time for me to send all of these parts back. So I need to make sure that, actually let me check real quick. Oh, whoop. Ow. Okay, I don't think I activated the Lytra quickly enough, but, or correctly for that matter. But I have feather falling. Wow, that. Needless to say, working this high is a hazard because that's actually not the first time I've fallen, or the third, or the fifth, or even the last time I've fallen. I keep falling like every couple minutes. It's if it were not for the flying, sorry, not flying, the feather falling boots, I would have died so many times during this project. Ay ay ay. Anyway, climbing back up. Um, I need to make sure I activate these reversing engines in the correct order, because if I activate it in the wrong order, they will collide with each other. Well, not the engines themselves won't collide, but these little zigzag sections will collide into each other. So I need to make sure. Okay, good. So I need to activate the engine closest to me first, then hop over that one, do the next zigzag, then the third zigzag. All right, so let's get this one started. Hop over here. Actually, I need to climb a little farther forward to reach. And that one's on its way. Awesome. Okay, so this one is the next one. Or not. Oh, I forgot to remove the furnaces in between. Okay, whoops. The furnaces are stopping it from moving forward, so let me get rid of those real quick. Make sure I do not break the slime blocks, because those are very, very easy to break. And I don't want to have to jump down to pick them up. Alright, let's try that again. There you go, that one's off. Let's get this one next. And the last one. Alright, and these TNT duping sections, they can just go in any order since they won't interfere with each other. So, goodbye. Goodbye. See you later. Sayonara. These things make a huge racket. Oh, I need to keep up with them so they stay within render distance. Or not the render distance, the loaded chunks. Because if they fly off into an unloaded chunk, they can break. Oh, a little bit of lag there. By the way, it should be obvious, but for a very large flying machine, they can really lag the game, especially when you're on a server. So, like right now, it seems fine right now, but when it's actually dropping TNT and blowing up all the blocks below us, yeah, the game actually struggles. Well, specific, the server struggles to keep up. Alright. Let's grab that back, grab the shulker box back, and we can hear some of the first pieces coming back. There we go. Almost there. And you can see the servers. There you go. There's a little ghost image of the flying machines back there. But yeah, again, flying machines are not great for servers that are, well, weak, to say the least. And there we go. All the pieces are back. Wow, that's so much easier than last time. Last time I had to rebuild. Yeah, like I already mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. This is so... Why did I not do this earlier? Anyway, so now I need to send these reversing engines back towards that end. So, grab my dirt blocks. Dirt is easy to remove, so that's why I'm using dirt blocks. And that one's gone. And these don't have any particular order because they won't collide. Oh! Whew. Like I said, I fall off a lot in this project. Luckily, I had this little scaffolding underneath to catch me. And this is also actually the really bad spot for me to fall because I did a little test. Just duping TNT in this one spot just to see how far I can dig down. It doesn't dig down all the way to bedrock, but it gets pretty close. And yeah, this is actually a really deep section for me to fall if I were to fall here. In fact, I fell down here once and I think I got out with one full heart. It was pretty bad. Anyway, let's get all of these flying machines on their way back. Ah, darn it. Alright, so this is what I mean by breaking the flying machine. So, I did not... So, okay, let me rewind a little bit. You can see these furnaces at the back? These are meant to stop the... Well, these little zigzag sections from being pushed too far back. Well, over here, at this last section, I forgot to put down a furnace. So now this section that I'm now standing on got pushed too far back. This piston, which is not supposed to be here, is supposed to be right underneath the redstone block. Actually, no, it's not even supposed to be right underneath the redstone block. This redstone block is supposed to be farther up, right next to where the dirt block is. Anyway, it got pushed too far back, and now it's stuck together. Now I gotta rebuild this section. Darn it. And there you go. This section is fixed. I already sent that reversing engine on its way back, and I just need to clear out all these dirt blocks, and we can run this machine for its third pass. Alright, so if I turn my camera just right, you can see through the fog that all of the reversing engines have already gone all the way back. So that means this is ready to go forward now. So all I need to do is just break this wooden block over here, and the machine should start flying forward. And this should create a lot of explosions. So just a heads up, this is gonna get really loud. Okay, that is very loud. Too loud. I had to turn down the volume. And look at all of that destruction. This is why I love this machine. So while this flying machine is approaching here, so you can see there's one furnace that's sticking out. This will stop the engine, which should then in turn stop all of these sections right in front of the reversing engine. So let's see if that works properly. Gotta hope this works. Come on. Yes. Bingo. Oh. Some residual TNT. Yes, and there we go. This has worked totally beautifully. All right. So that pretty much sums up what I'm doing here. Just gotta send this machine back and forth and just keep blowing up one layer at a time. Though, actually, let me hop down real quick. Oh, Elytra, work? Ow, that was a little sketchy. But yeah, so this has stripped a fresh layer, and I can start going around picking stuff up. And in fact, cobblestone is actually very valuable to me, because making all those pistons and all the stuff I required, like the furnaces and stuff, that blew through a lot of cobblestone. So I actually need to replenish my supplies. Oh, let me up the block sounds again. There we go. So pretty much what I do is just run around, collect some cobblestone. Not all the cobblestone. This is still way too much cobblestone than like for what I need. But you know, I look around to see if there's any exposed iron, like here, and just grab the iron. Well, now that this machine is working quite well right now, all that's left to do is just run it back and forth a couple more times until I get all the iron that I need. Here's a time lapse of myself running the flying TNT machine back and forth. I think overall it took me about an hour to run the machine back and forth this many times. Now, I'm going to talk a bit more about this whole perimeter project. So, I actually have another farm project I'm working out in the ocean. That one's going to be for slime spawning. Now, in hindsight, I could also put the creeper farm out in the ocean too, because the ocean, well, lots of mobs can't spawn in the ocean because they're like drowned. But yeah, the ocean's actually a pretty good compromise of something that's easy to build, but also you get the function of, you know, getting a decent mob spawn rate. Now, I still opted to do this whole perimeter project because, well, mainly because of 3 reasons. 1, I just learned how to make flying machines, so I wanted to make a flying machine. 2, I just learned about the TNT duping exploit, which, again, I really wanted to try to make something that uses it. And 3, I learned about a lot more about mob spawning mechanics, and that's where I learned about perimeters. So those 3 things together, I just really wanted to blow a lot of stuff up. Anyway, so that's why I'm making this creeper farm inland, where it's a lot more effort than putting the creeper farm out in the ocean. Well, I hope you guys like that time lapse. That's actually the first time working with the replay mod, so hopefully it turned out alright. Now, I actually had to stop mining because, well, take a look inside the hole. Well, I'm not sure if it's a hole anymore. Let's call it a trench. Um, yeah, so I actually busted into the stronghold, so you can see some of the mossy stone bricks there, some more over there. I actually broke into the library, so I actually had to pause and grab all the bookshelves because, well, those are actually quite valuable. You can also see I broke into a mine shaft. You can see the little oak planks and the fence over there. So lots of mobs were starting to spawn as I was trying to dig out all the iron ore. Also, the main reason why I stopped bombing out the entire area is we're starting to expose lava and lots of water. So I need to start clearing those out before I can run the machine again because the lava will break the, well, it will destroy the TNT entity and water will dampen the TNT explosion. So I need to clear all that out before I can continue running. So I'm going to call it quits here. Now let's take a look at what we've gotten. Almost 9 full stacks. Actually more like 8.5. Almost 8.5. Short one. But 8.5 stacks of iron ore, that is really darn good. I might combine with the iron blocks I have in base, that might be enough to finish the configurable struggle box filler machine. That name never comes out well. Anyway, you can see the bookshelves here I got from the library. And oh, that box. I filled 1 full sugar box of cobblestone, so this should restore our cobblestone supplies quite well. And here are some of the leftovers. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.